Hi guys, Abe here of the PocketBot Collective. And today we'll have a look at a Dinobot Swoop. And this is the DX9 version, who's already about 4 years old by now, I think. 2017. But this guy still holds up very well in any Legend class collection. Can't say there's too many options for Swoop anyways. I mean, you got this guy. You also have the slightly upscaled, knocked off version of this guy that McFans Toys did. And I guess if you don't mind the Dinobots being too big, you could also go for the... Was it Power of the Primes from Hasbro? They did the Dinobots. And obviously there's a Swoop in there as well. But before we take a good look at this guy, let's have a look at what he comes with. And no, it's not this little stand here that I put him on. He comes with a box, obviously, a weapon, and some instructions. I'll quickly open the instructions. He is not too hard to transform, but there is a tricky bit near the legs, which we'll get into later. Sorry, buddy. Let me just move you to the side. Here is the box. Swoop is from the War in Pocket line. Legendary heroes in your pocket. DX9 called them Xtal20 Bombardier Skyer. I love the artwork that they put on their boxes though. It looks very cool. And then here's the back with some text specs, although it doesn't say what is what, but that is fine. And a very nice Dinobot scene. I love this. So yes, I'm keeping this box. But there we go. And there's your warnings. Sorry. Let me see. Yeah. DX9 2017. There we go. Accessory wise, he comes with this little sword. Come on, focus. Try to focus. It doesn't want to focus really. It's translucent red plastic. Let me see if we can get this. There we go. It is nicely sculpted. You can hold it just fine in robot mode. I don't think you can store it in Dino mode. No, no pegs or anything on there. My gripe with it is that it's translucent red plastic. Nothing else is translucent on this figure. And I'm not much of a fan of this because it doesn't really look realistic, so to say. If only they colored at least the handle or something, then I wouldn't have minded the blade to be translucent. But there you go. It is what it is. It's what you get with him. And he can hold it just fine. So yeah. Put that to the side. Let's have a look at the bird himself. Very nicely detailed, painted, everything. All the accents are there. The wings are chrome. And this is of course his sitting pose, as you saw. But you can also make him fly, obviously. Just tilt the head up. Mouth is articulated as well. I'll close it for now. There you go. Hinge there, so you can pose the wings whichever way you want. And the feet articulate as well, but they become the robot arms, so there you go. Very nice. Some blue there, some reds there, black, silver, red. The eye is also metallic blue. You can see the robot head hiding behind there. The bombs, sorry, I forgot to say, they are also accessories that come with them. I've had them packed in already. There you go. And could they come loose? Yeah, it can come loose, but there you go. Excuse me if you heard any noise, but apparently my neighbors decided to start drilling in the middle of the afternoon in the room right adjacent to where I am. But where were we? Yes, very nice looking bird mode. The head, like you saw, it can tilt up and down. It doesn't have a rotation or anything, but I don't think you really need it anyways. It doesn't come with a flight stand or a flight stand adapter or anything. But since his hands are hanging out at the back here, you can take just another stand and... Sorry, I should have moved this, I think. Well, let me just loosen this one. There we go. And plug it into his hand, and then he can stand just fine. So if you have a stand, that's what you can do as well. There we go. As far as the bird mode goes, I already listed a couple of alternatives for Swoop in your collection. Recently, Hasbro also brought out some, I think they're called Roll and Combine figures. They're a 2-pack, and the 2 figures can form one larger robot. Not my thing, not the demographic, we're not the demographic they aimed at, I think, but it does have a pretty cool Swoop in there that sizes up very well with this guy. So I'm just showing it to you as a quick option. Obviously, it's nowhere near as nicely done as the DX9 Swoop, but it's an option you have, and I actually quite like. They gave him a tail and some legs and everything, and there you go. A little bit loose, but very well colored. I'll bring him back in robot mode in a bit, just so you can see. Right. Let's get into transformation, shall we? To transform him, the bombs you can just leave on there. Where to start? Shall we start with the legs? Because I said they were a bit tricky. You need to, one, be aware that this black flap that's attached to the legs sits behind the wing. So make sure you position it properly before you start moving things, or at least make sure that when you're moving things, it doesn't hinder each other. Same on the other side. Now, the way the legs are attached is just in there. You can see that there's a that it goes into the legs there. You need to unhook that and bring the leg out. But to unhook it and bring it out properly, because this blue part here, if you can see, sorry, sits a little bit on the inside of the silver part of the leg. So you kind of need to angle it. You can't just unhook it and pull it off. You kind of need to angle it a little bit and move it. So once you're used to it, it's fine, but just beware of that. It's a little bit of a, I wouldn't call it a design flaw, but it's a bit tricky, and it doesn't really come across in the instructions either. So let's see if I can do this. We just wiggle it loose off that peg. Come on, buddy. See? And then we kind of angle it so we can lift it over that blue part. And once you've done that, you're in the clear. You can just stretch it out, move the foot forward, and use this black flap to fill up the leg. There you go. Do the same for the other side. Move it off that peg. Keep it at an angle. Move it down. And only then we start straightening it out. You can see now as well that if you do it in that way, then also the wing and the black piece don't hinder each other. So, takes a bit of getting used to, but it's fine after that. Flip the foot out, fill up the leg, and you can see by the little bit of gold that's on there, the legs need to be turned, so it fills that out. There we go. Now, his chest actually sort of breaks apart and rotates on these hinges to his back. So what we're going to do, we'll clear the arms. You can actually flip the feet in, bringing the hands out already as well. And then both sections just swivel to the back. There we go. Then we still need to push this down. Sorry, it was there for bird mode. Now we push it down. Then we unclip the little head crest there. Flip down the bird head. Make that go flush. And there we have his head. Then all you need to do is position the arms and the wings whichever way you want them to. And there is Swoop. Let's bring him in for a close-up. Nicely painted head sculpt. Is on a ball joint, so it can move in all directions. Rotate fully around. Some silver details on the side as well. Sorry. There we go. Arms also on. Ball peg there. Sorry. There. Ball peg there. Full range of motion, only hindered by the wings, but you can put them to the side. Doesn't have a waist. Doesn't have an ab crunch. He doesn't have a waist rotation either because everything locks in. Hips are forward and back, but again hindered by the wing. They did cut out, if you can see it here, the torso, so you have clearance for the hips to move around. They can move out all the way. Has a cut there, as you saw for transformation. Has a knee that goes just under 90, but yeah, by manipulating the flap you can get over 90. Feet go forward this much and backwards obviously all the way because that was where they were in robot mode, and also has full ankle tilt. So a very poseable figure. I like that a lot of the details translate to robot mode as well. We shall also give him his sword, which, like I said, not too fond of this sword, but he can hold it just fine. It is what it is. And then we shall do some comparisons. First we'll bring in our boy Runabout, who I forgot in my Snarl review. Excuse me. Obviously the Dinobots are a little bit bigger than your standard Legend class figures. I don't have the McFan's Toys upscaled version, but he would stand even a little bit taller than the DX9 version. So it's whatever you prefer in your collection, I guess. I'm happy with this guy. The slightly smaller size Swoop, so to say. But you've got options. Let me put him to the side. Let's compare him to some Dinobots as well, shall we? Here is the other Swoop figure that you saw at the start of this video. The Hasbro Dinobots Unite Swoop. Who I have to say, I'm happily surprised at the colors, the sculpting and everything. It's just the engineering that's not great on this thing. But just to bring him in. Come on, buddy. Focus. There we go. It actually has a great head sculpt, even better than the DX9 one, in my opinion. But because of the gimmick they have, his articulation is very limited. I mean, he can bend his leg, and he can bend his foot a little bit, but that's it. And his arm can only swing out, because you can see where it was tabbed in. But the detailing is great. But it's all loose and flimsy because of the gimmick that they have. Yeah, this needs to split apart for him to become the combiner torso and whatnot. But there you go. He's fun though. And if you're limited in funds, this could be a great Swoop as a stand-in in your collection. Just saying. The tail that I referred to earlier, that actually becomes his weapon. So that's a pretty cool touch in my opinion. There we go. But let's not have him steal the spotlight here, because it's about this other fella here. More Dinobots. That's what we were saying. Let's bring in McFan's Toys Sludge, because I actually went for the upscaled version. The X9 also did Sludge. That's pretty much this guy, just a little bit smaller. I like Sludge to be a bit taller. So there you go. Here is DX9 Swoop with MFT Sludge. We can also bring in Hasbro's Snarl that recently came out. Hold on, let me just put Swoop's wings back for a minute so he can stand in between them for a decent size comparison. There we go. You can see they scale very nicely. I have to say, there was weapon storage on this guy. See, you can put his sword in his tail and then his tail on his hip, and there you go. It's a thing you can do. I just gave him actually Sludge's sword for now. Just to round up my Dinobots. I can also bring in... We saw the Crash Combiner style Swoop just now. In that same range, there is also a Sludge, whatever you want to call it. There you go. There you see how that scales. It's my Dino Diversity team, and I haven't got a proper Grimlock in at the moment, so you'll have to do with this little dude right here. There you go, my Dino Diversity team as it stands right now. With an extra Swoop. Alright, but star of the show is this DX9 Swoop, who I think is great, who I can definitely recommend to anyone. And if not this one, then maybe the MFT one, slightly bigger, or the Hasbro Power of the Primes one, I think even a little bit bigger than the MFT one. You got options, but I think this is your boy. Alright, thank you guys for watching once again, and I will see you next time. Ape out!